The first thing I noticed upon entering the hall was the way light hit the crystal chandeliers, scattering across the polished floor. It was beautiful, almost painfully so, but the warmth of the setting did little to soften the chill that ran through me. My younger brother, the center of attention, smiled at everyone, carefree, smug, oblivious to the tension he was about to create. I had anticipated awkwardness from my parents, small nudges, ridicule hidden behind forced laughter, but nothing prepared me for the moment when he caught my gaze, tilted his head slightly, and pointed toward the trash cans near the back wall. "Your seat is over there," he said, his voice casual yet sharp. A beat passed. My parents joined in with laughter, high and brittle. "That's the spot the stray bulldog likes the most," my mother added, as though this were a clever joke. I felt heat rise, a familiar sting of humiliation, but I held it down. I stood slowly, every eye in the room flicked toward me. I didn't speak, I didn't argue. I walked out. The doors closed behind me with a quiet finality. Outside, the cool night air pressed against my skin. The city's hum felt distant, muffled, but the silence was no comfort. I leaned against the building, taking the smallest breaths to slow the racing thoughts. Memories surfaced, one after another, childhood moments where he'd sneer, parents excusing his arrogance, small humiliations buried under family routines. The pattern was clear, and for once I had chosen restraint over reaction. I didn't need them to understand. I didn't need immediate validation. My absence would speak louder than any words. 30 minutes passed. The murmurs and laughter of the party faded behind me, replaced by the distant clang of dishes and faint voices. Then I heard it, a scream, not the shrill, playful kind children make. This was raw, tremulous, unguarded. I glanced toward the hall. My brother had knocked over a decorative display, a tall floral arrangement that balanced precariously atop a pedestal. It crashed onto the floor, shattering glass and scattering flowers. Guests gasped. Parents rushed toward him, voices rising in a mixture of anger and panic. I did nothing. I stayed where I was. But through the glass doors I could see him stumble backward, his posture collapsing as authority converged around him. The caterer, who had been patient until now, reprimanded him sharply, while an aunt stepped in to restore order. The room that once hummed with celebration now trembled under the weight of the sudden visible consequences. And yet I felt no triumph, only a quiet, measured relief. I had not lashed out. I had not demanded recognition. My dignity remained intact, while the dependence, the fragility that had always been hidden beneath his brashness, was suddenly apparent to everyone. I walked further from the building, past the glow of street lamps and the hum of distant traffic. Each step was deliberate, a rhythm that steadied the pulse in my chest. I remembered his earlier gesture, the mocking laughter, and I let it fade into the night. I did not feel satisfaction, I felt clarity. When I finally turned back toward the hall, I saw him standing amidst the remnants of the display, trembling, shoulders hunched, the weight of scrutiny pressing down. My parents hovered, flustered and scolding, and I realized the room's focus had shifted away from me without a single word from my lips. The shift was quiet, undeniable, and entirely earned by absence and poise. I kept walking, leaving the chaos behind. My phone buzzed once with a message from an old friend asking if I was okay. I didn't reply immediately. For the first time that evening, I felt a sense of control that had nothing to do with anger, vengeance, or spectacle. The event continued without me, but I knew I had changed something imperceptible yet fundamental. The scream lingered in my memory, not as a weapon, not as evidence of my brother's humiliation, but as a subtle reminder of hidden dependence laid bare. Power, I understood now, could exist quietly. It didn't need shouting, it didn't need dramatics. It existed in composure, in restraint, and in knowing when to step away. And so I walked on, past the glittering halls, past the laughter that had once sought to wound me, into a night that felt steadier, quieter, and entirely mine.